6 ex-boyfriends. 1 tropical island. One woman forced to choose between love, trust, and $250,000. The second Ashley removed her blindfold, the entire atmosphere changed. Standing directly in front of her were 6 men from her past 6 relationships she thought were completely over. Some of them smiled confidently the moment they saw her. Others looked nervous, awkward, and completely unsure about what was about to happen. Ashley herself couldn't even find the words to react. She looked from one face to another, almost frozen in shock as memories from different parts of her life suddenly came rushing back all at once. Nobody expected the reunion to feel this intense so quickly. But things became even crazier when the rules of the challenge were finally explained. Every 5 days, Ashley would personally eliminate one of the men and send him home with absolutely nothing. No second chances. No returning later. Once their heart was smashed, their journey would officially end. But the biggest twist came at the very end of the announcement. The last ex-boyfriend remaining on the island would face one final decision: split the $250,000 prize with Ashley, or steal every single dollar for himself. The energy across the island shifted immediately. What looked like a fun tropical vacation suddenly became a serious game built around trust, strategy, jealousy, emotions, and survival. Some of the guys claimed they were there because they still cared deeply about Ashley and wanted another chance at love. Others looked far more interested in the money than the relationship itself. And honestly, nobody truly knew who could actually be trusted. The island itself looked unbelievable. Crystal clear water surrounded the beaches while giant palm trees moved slowly in the warm breeze. Luxury tents were already prepared beside the shore, complete with comfortable beds, decorations, lighting, and everything the contestants could possibly need. There was endless food, relaxing lounges, hammocks near the ocean, and even private spots hidden around the island for conversations. It looked more like a millionaire vacation resort than a competition show. But underneath the beautiful scenery, tension was already starting to build. From the very first day, the guys immediately started competing for Ashley's attention. One contestant rushed to set up a hammock for her before anyone else could even react. Another brought her cold drinks every few minutes. Someone else searched around the island collecting shells and flowers just to make handmade gifts for her. Every small action suddenly mattered because everyone believed Ashley was secretly paying attention to everything they did. Ashley quickly realized how strange the entire experience felt. One moment she was laughing and enjoying the beautiful surroundings, and the next moment she was sitting beside people she once loved, people she once trusted, and people who had once broken her heart. Some conversations felt comfortable and natural, almost like no time had passed at all. Other conversations felt awkward and tense, filled with unresolved emotions from the past. Among all the contestants, Mitchell quickly became one of the strongest connections on the island. From the moment Ashley started talking to him, the chemistry between them was obvious. Their conversations flowed naturally, they laughed constantly around each other, and they seemed more emotionally connected than anyone else there. The other guys noticed it almost immediately, and jealousy slowly began spreading through the camp. Every time Ashley spent extra time with Mitchell, the tension grew stronger. Some contestants started wondering if the competition was already decided before it had truly begun. Meanwhile, Danny decided to approach the game completely differently. Instead of constantly flirting with Ashley, he focused on making her feel comfortable and cared for around the island. He helped organize the camp, carried supplies, brought her food, and even created small decorations from seashells and plants to make the place feel more personal. Ashley appreciated how much effort he was putting in, and slowly Danny started becoming one of the favorites without needing to demand attention constantly. But not everyone handled the pressure well. Jake quickly became one of the most unpredictable people in the competition. Sometimes he acted funny, relaxed, and entertaining around everyone. Other times he became distant, cold, and impossible to understand. Ashley couldn't decide whether Jake genuinely cared about her or whether he was simply focused on surviving long enough to win the money. Even the other contestants struggled to trust him because his attitude changed constantly from one moment to another. As the days continued, the emotional pressure started affecting everyone. Late-night conversations around the fire became more serious. Some contestants admitted they still had real feelings for Ashley. Others confessed they regretted how their relationships ended years ago. For the first time in a very long time, these exes were forced to face their past directly instead of avoiding it. The island stopped feeling like a vacation and slowly turned into an emotional battlefield where every person was fighting for trust, attention, and survival. At the same time, strategy quietly became part of the game. Some contestants began trying to convince Ashley that certain people couldn't be trusted. Whispered conversations started happening away from the group. Small alliances formed naturally between certain contestants while others became isolated. Everyone understood that relationships alone might not be enough to survive. Ashley needed to believe that the final person standing would actually split the money with her instead of stealing everything. And that fear changed everything. One evening during a conversation near the beach, someone directly asked Ashley which contestant she trusted the least. Ashley hesitated for a moment before quietly admitting that Jake worried her the most. Even though he made her laugh sometimes, she felt like she never truly knew what he was thinking. The moment those words left her mouth, the atmosphere became uncomfortable instantly. Jake laughed it off on the outside. But deep down, everyone could feel the pressure growing around him. As day 4 arrived, the entire island felt different compared to the beginning of the challenge. The excitement was slowly disappearing and reality was finally hitting everyone. Nobody wanted to become the first person eliminated. Every contestant knew that once Ashley smashed their heart, their entire journey would end immediately. Ashley herself felt emotionally exhausted trying to make the decision. At first, she thought eliminating someone would be easy. But spending time with all 6 exes again brought back old memories, emotions, and confusion she wasn't expecting. Some of the men reminded her why she fell for them in the first place. Others reminded her exactly why the relationships failed. Choosing who deserved another chance became far more difficult than she imagined. That night, Ashley sat alone beside the ocean thinking carefully about every contestant. Who was being genuine? Who was pretending? Who truly cared about her? And who only cared about the $250,000 waiting at the end? The next morning, the first elimination ceremony finally arrived. Everyone gathered together near the center of the island where several giant hearts had been placed in a line beside a massive hammer. The mood was completely different compared to the earlier days. Nobody joked around anymore. Nobody smiled confidently anymore. Even the strongest contestants looked nervous. Ashley slowly stepped forward while the others watched silently.